it's very clear to Jewish communities in London are traumatised and upset and sometimes fearful based on events that have happened overseas and the increase in hate crime in London. And that's an awful place for us to be as a capital city, and we're doing everything we can do to tackle that. I think there's a danger, though, that people don't read the facts of incidents and just get sucked into debates that are bouncing around on Twitter. We are being very balanced at dealing with issues that are potentially inflammatory on a very focused basis. So to be absolutely clear, on these campaigning posters raising the sort of awareness of the kidnapped children, we are not, as a general rule, intervening in that. There's no reason we should do it. It's perfectly lawful. However, in one case, when it was highlighted to us by a community member that they'd been placed on the shutters of a shop because there was a pro-Palestinian supporter who worked there, it'd been placed on private premises, and it was seen to be potentially inflammatory, and the officers took a practical judgment on the day that actually a sensible thing was to remove them, just as a week before there'd been cases of Palestinian flags being placed in multiple places, one of which includes, I think, a Jewish cemetery or war memorial, and again the officer involved in saying, well, that seems to make sense to remove those. So they're taking pragmatic judgments that are completely symmetrical to deflate tension. There are some people in the social media world who aren't interested in facts and present that as a bias. That is not accurate.
Yeah, I accept your officers are in a very difficult position. I've absolutely no doubt that they are. But equally, and I'm not talking about the Twitter world or the social media world, I'm talking about the real world. Jewish residents, Jewish Londoners particularly, are feeling very, very scared, very, very intimidated. They don't feel they can go out at the weekend, certainly to come into London. Now we've got sit-ins in stations, so that's making them very, very nervous as well. What practical steps can you actually take to assist the Jewish community who are very, very scared at the moment?
I completely acknowledge that concern. I was answering, you asked a particular question about a particular incident which is widely misunderstood, and that was the point I was answering. I completely accept that Jewish communities are really upset and traumatised by what's going on overseas and in the UK, and are very anxious. We are doing two things. We are enforcing the law to the letter of the law. The law on protest is really clear. It's very permissive, and we work to that letter. Parliament draws the line of the law, we enforce it. But beyond that, there are a lot of legal actions which are causing sort of concern and add into that picture. We're doing everything we can to reassure. We're putting more patrols in communities, as I say. We're visiting synagogues regularly. We're visiting schools regularly. We have a very positive relationship with the CST, the organisation that the Jewish organisation that helps with protection of
Yep.
their community colleagues. So we're doing all of the things that you would expect.